Harry Kane isn't England's only captain gunning for World Cup glory this year. Harry Kane isn't the only England captain dreaming of World Cup glory in 2022. The Three Lions talisman will be hoping to end 56 years of hurt as he leads Gareth Southgate's side out in Qatar. But before that, Matt Crossan will be skippering England's cerebral palsy team as they target World Cup success out in Spain. The tournament, taking place in Barcelona, begins this Wednesday, April 27, and concludes on May 16. It is the pinnacle for those players involved in the seven-a-side concept, and Crossan and his colleagues will be hoping to improve on the side's fourth-placed finish at the last event in 2019. Crossan's journey to leading his country at a major tournament is one that began with a seemingly innocuous nose injury whilst playing for non-league Marske United, aged 23. Just weeks later he suffered a life-changing stroke whilst at work. Despite a long road to recovery and some tough times along the way, he is philosophical about the road life has taken him down. Speaking to Mirror Football fresh from a training session at National Hub St George's Park, he says, "Believe it or not, at the time I worked for a gym and I'd just done a talk on how going to the gym stops you having heart attacks, strokes, high blood pressure, etc. Then I just sat down and suddenly my arm was just across my chest, but it felt like it was up in the air. That was obviously the first sign of a stroke. I couldn't walk, couldn't talk. I had to learn to do everything that you learn from being a child. But I think everything happens for a reason. And I think if it was something that was supposed to happen to me, then I was sort of like, well, let's get it out of the way." The doctor came in and he said it's going to be difficult to play football again. But I was determined to get back, first walking, then running, and then eventually playing football. Before his stroke, Crossan was making strides in the Northern League, making his debut at 16 and making gradual progression until the life-changing incident 7 years later. Once recovered, he quickly got back into football and suddenly became aware of the CP team before impressing Jeff Davis, the FA's development manager for disability football. Captaincy would soon follow, and he is now putting the finishing touches as he prepares for a second World Cup as skipper, just like Spurs forward Kane. The two men met at St George's Park over a year ago for an event to mark International Day of People with Disabilities. Crossan says Kane's humility stood out immediately. "He's really down to earth," he said of Kane. "He asked about my football and how my family was and stuff like that. I was expecting a daughter at the time, so he was just asking about that too. He's just such a nice bloke." England's first group game is against Canada on May 3 before facing Venezuela on May 5 and the Netherlands on May 7, with all games being based out of a facility in Salou. England finished fourth in 2019 for the second successive World Cup, something Crossan is determined to improve on this time around. The 31-year-old added, "Obviously it's every lad's dream to walk out at a World Cup, and to do it as captain of your side is unbelievable. Last time we got the semi-finals and finished fourth. We lost out to Brazil in the third-placed match, but I thought we did a good job. But we will certainly be trying to go one better, at least, this time."